Good day, viewers. Welcome to another episode of Living the Dreams. My name remains Chiytwo, your host, and today we shall be talking about limiting beliefs. Limiting beliefs are our own thoughts about ourselves that pegs us or cage us in a particular area of what we think of ourselves. And often than not, you might have heard people say things like, I don't know how to do this, I don't think I can ever try that, or I'm not made for this. And you wonder, how do they get to know all this about themselves when they've not even tried? So today I'll be sharing with you 5 common limiting beliefs that probably you or someone very close to you might have said or exhibit as a character or do time and time over again that they don't know or they never knew are just limiting beliefs in which they use to cage themselves in that particular sphere of their life. And sometimes we exhibit these beliefs in different areas of our lives or in different spaces or different spheres of our lives, and not generally in all circumstances. But often than not, these beliefs come as a result of fear, as a result of anxiety, or things we've experienced in the past. And some of those experiences are not direct experience, because experience can be broadly grouped into 2 things: felt and learned. So some of the experience in which we are fully involved in, those are the experiences we felt ourselves, and some of those experiences we learn from looking at other people. So some of these beliefs are things we've learned or we felt. So depending on your own circumstance, it could be of the various variants for you. So today I'll be talking about 5 common limiting beliefs that a lot of people tend to exhibit and how you could easily manage them. So let's start. The very first one is, I am not good enough. And you could have heard people say that, oh, I'm not good enough. I don't think this, I don't think that of myself. And you might find this in the workplace where people make the statement like, oh, I'm not given the promotion because I'm not good enough. I'm not doing this because I'm not good enough. I can't do that because I'm not good enough. This basically means the person have told themselves and convinced themselves that they would never be good enough to attain a next stage in a particular thing. And the only reason they know that is probably because they failed once or twice and they've decided to give up on trying. And at any point when you give up on trying anything, that's the point in which it becomes totally mandated that you would not progress. Because at that point you've given up on trying. And the only way to get across that bar is to keep trying until you're able to move over the bar. And the moment you keep trying, you keep learning new ways of not to do it. The only way to get to know that and perfect that is you keep trying over and over and over again. You might need to have a 10,000 trials, 1,000 trials, or 100 trials, depending on your skill level at the time you're trying it. But if you believe that you're not good enough, then I don't think anyone would help you in throwing that shot if you've never tried. And anyone would not be able to help you because they will not even be able to analyze your skill level and tell you where you need to get things right or tell you where you're getting it wrong and help you manage or analyze or reevaluate how you could do it better. So the moment you think you are not good enough, there is no one that could make that miraculous change for you because you already have a hard stone belief that you are not good enough, and there's nothing that can change that for you except you decide to take that away and keep trying, and you would never know until you've tried again. Then the second limiting belief I would like to talk about is, I cannot be successful. It sounds like a curse, like I cannot be successful. Why should anyone think that they cannot be successful? Probably based on their background, probably based on their circumstance, probably based on the things that have happened to them before. But the fact that if anyone hold a belief in their heart, about a particular aspect of thing, that thing is going to be their reality. That thing is going to be what is going to happen to them. Because even at the time they are meant to be successful, they would naturally self-sabotage themselves not to be successful. Because their mindset already has predefined success as something not attainable for them. So anything that drives them close to success, they would personally self-sabotage that process. And these are part of the things you hear people say in various areas and spaces of their lives. Then one of the third common self-limiting belief I'd like to share with you is, I don't have enough experience. You know, have you gotten to a place where probably there is an issue and someone asks you, oh, can you help us with this? And you're like, I don't have any experience about it. The point is, the person asking you probably don't expect you to be the best solution in the world, best solution provider in the world. But the person might just believe that if you bring in your own initiative, that might move the problem from 0 to 2. The moment you feel you don't have any experience to get something done, you could only gain experience from trying to do it in the first place. So if you feel you can't do anything about it because you don't have any experience of it, then you're not even going to gain any experience that would even help you in another time. So experience is something we gather over time while going through a process over and over again. And sometimes the more we go through a process, the better we become, even though we've not attained the final stage of the process. You know, if you're trying to prepare a new meal for the first time, there is every likelihood you make a mistake about it. And the more you keep preparing the meal, the more you get better at it. You know, there are some people that will make you a particular kind of dish. They could even do it for you, closing their eyes, because they've perfected the art of making that dish over and over and over again. And the only way you could gain experience about anything is the amount of time you spend doing that thing. So within your workspace, within your relationship, within anything you want to do, to gain experience about it is you putting yourself into that space and letting it happen to you and letting you happen to it and combining those two together and learning how to do it better. So the best way of overcoming that is get into it, do it yourself. The fourth limiting belief I would like to talk about is people tend to say, I'm someone who don't follow through, or I don't get things done. If over the time you've not gotten things done and you've accustomed yourself to that, it could basically be out of two things: your fear of success or of failure, or your anxiety of how things are going to turn out to be. It could be a thing about change for you. And often than not, if you check people that don't follow through to the end, they don't have the conviction, or they are skeptical about the conviction of the things they are trying to get done. If you could look back at the things you've not gotten through with and see the state in which they are in, they would always leave you in this limbo of either regret or being passive about it. But you know when you get them done, you would naturally be happy about it. So what that means for you is your ability to not get things through with is one of your own personal excuses you've created for yourself, one of your own escape for yourself, where you could easily keep things in a limbo and don't get through to the end of it. Either you're scared of what the outcome could be it success or failure, or you're just being passive about your life in its generality. So understanding the fact that to follow through a particular thing, you need some level of zeal and some level of conviction for yourself to know whatever the outcome is, you're going to get to the end of it. You know, it's like following a trail that has been blazed by other people. You would never know the sweetness at the end of the tunnel. You would never know how bright the light at the end of the tunnel would be if you don't get to the end of the tunnel. And you never know how dark it is if you don't get to the end of the tunnel in itself. So not following through it could be as an excuse in which you've conjured up in your mind, whereby you use that as a wall to get to either success or failure. So no one would question you for being a failure, and no one would even question you if it would have become a success. So it is one of the very common limiting beliefs whereby people use a wall to barricade themselves from getting to a particular destination, be it could result into failure or success, and they would remain indifferent or passive about it, sitting in a limbo without them being judged for it. And this is why I said it could be as a perspective of fear, whereby they think, oh, people will judge them if they get this, or people will judge them if this becomes the outcome of the thing they've done. So the last and the final one I would like to talk about of the belief is, I don't have enough time. And you could hear a lot of people say, oh, I've been very busy, I don't have enough time, so I can't do this, I can't do this. The truth is, every living soul has just 24 hours. So we all don't have enough time. Every living soul will die, so we all don't have enough time. And the concept of time in itself is the fact that we are all born at a particular time and we will all die at a particular time. So within that time frame, that is all what we have to get the things we want to do done. And no one knows when he or she is going to die. And no one knows what will be the cost of their own death. So meaning we are all living risk factors of death. because people have slumped in their own bedroom, people have died over a meal and things like that. So we don't know when we're going to die, but as a matter of fact, we know the things we can do today. We know the things we can achieve in the next 1 year if we work towards it. So our ability to plan through the time we have is one of the things to deal with this limiting factor, is our ability to be able to plan our own life based on our own resources, the circumstances we are in, and the time available to us. Putting that in perspective, even when we don't know what the next minute would bring for us, we would be able to know that when we plan our own self better, then we'll be able to utilize the time we have in a very better space for us and get the things we need to get done within that time frame. Then we need to be able to prioritize the things we need to get done. When we have a priority, a scale of priority, then we'll know how to schedule things within that time frame, within that time block, and get the results we need to get for us to be able to, on the long run, achieve the things we want to achieve for ourselves. And that way, we'll be able to see the results we hope for, see the results we dream about, get milestones that takes us closer to our dreams, closer to our goals, and on the long run of it, we would know that, oh, if we do this, this, and this, we're able to conquer, we're able to overcome some of these limiting beliefs. So we've talked about limiting beliefs, and I've mentioned 5 of them. The first one being, I'm not good enough. You would never be good enough if you don't try enough. And it is until you've tried that you know, oh, this is probably the limit of my ability as at this point in time. Then the more you expand your knowledge, the more you grow, the more you try new ways of getting things done, then the more you know you're good enough and you could always expand that scope. The third one being, I don't have enough experience. The fourth one being, I am not someone who follow through. And the fifth one being, I don't have enough time on my hand. All of these things are just beliefs in which we've created for ourselves. And when we put our mind to it, we could break them down into simpler chunks. Because the moment we tell our mind that we can't do a particular thing, what we've created is obstacles around us getting things done. But the moment we believe that we can get these things done, what we'll also create in our mind is solutions and possible ways of getting that thing done. Even though it might start up as being clumsy, not being effective, but the fact that we have that belief that we can get it done is also a motivating factor, is also a force in which that enables our mind to see over the obstacles and see possibilities on how these things could be done. So don't limit yourself to the things you've pegged into your heart. Don't limit yourself to the concepts in which you've built around your own mind. Be open to possibilities. Be open to becoming something you have not become yet. Be open to new beginnings. Be open to trying over and over again. Be open to being zealous in getting things done. Be open to always trying to get to the end of every task. And you would realize that there is a new version of you. You will realize that there are abilities in which you've not explored about yourself that are still hidden in your own self. You have a lot of gems to be unraveled by yourself, and don't peg that to putting limiting beliefs in your mind. I hope to see you in another edition of Living the Dreams. I will remain your host, Chiytwo, and I hope to see you in another episode, and remain blessed.
Ramadan Mubarak.